Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Today's program has been brought to you by Hearst Ranch, the nation's largest single-source supplier of free-range, all-natural, grass-fed, and grass-finished beef. For more information, visit HearstRanch.com.
Broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn, you're listening to HeritageRadioNetwork.org.
Dorothy Cann Hamilton from the International Culinary Center, and today on HeritageRadioNetwork.org we are talking to a fantastic mentor chef, probably the greatest Italian chef to influence young Americans today, and that is none other than Cesare Casella. Welcome, Cesare.
Ciao.
Ciao. To me, this is very, very exciting because, as you probably all know, I run a cooking school, and Cesare has been my mentor for our Italian program. And he not only has been my mentor, but I know with many of the young American chefs who are making huge contributions, people like Mark Ladner at Del Posto, or Anne Burrell, or even someone like Anthony Bourdain, used Cesare to be his guide in Rome, to take him to all the best places and most authentic places. So anyway, we're going to jump into it today because Cesare's background is he came to the States quite a few years ago, and he opened Coco Pazzo, he had Beppe, Maremma, but now he has one of the most exciting eating places in New York, Salumeria Rossi on the Upper West Side, and he's just about to open Salumeria Rossi Il Ristorante on 73rd Street and Madison Avenue in New York. So enough about me talking, Cesare. I want to talk to you. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me, what year did you come to New York?
2001.
2001. Why did you come to New York?
I come New York because I used to be in I have a restaurant in Lucca, they call Vipore, and in the restaurant there came a lot of famous people, and there are a lot of Americans, and I started to like to come in New York for my vacation. I used to come in New York. I started to cook for charity event, and when the first one was in the Lincoln Center, and the called Tutta Italia event, and from there I started to be in love with New York, and I
You have the
come here.
opportunity, so you can. I should mention that Vipore was a one-star Michelin in Lucca, and John Fairchild, who's the editor-in-chief of W Magazine, it was his favorite restaurant. And so Cesare had a reputation in New York way before he got here. So tell me, how does an Italian chef become an Italian chef? A one-star Michelin toast of the town, toast of Lucca town, which is a heavy food city.
I think first is the passion and what you want to do in your life is what make you to become a chef, because at that moment you decide what you want to do. There was a difference for me. I born in the restaurant physically. We have our house above the restaurant, but my parents didn't like for me to be in the restaurant business.
Now wait a minute. So your family had a restaurant, Vipore.
Yes.
Okay. Was your father the chef?
My mom was a chef there. My father, he was doing only cook at the grill, because it was a wood fire grill, and it was the person that he was take care to buy the ingredients, and he was very picky in that. I learned a lot from him, how to buy the ingredients, how to choose the best quality. From my mom to cook, but at the same time I went in the school, because I thought that if I want to do this business, I want to have more knowledge, and the school is what they give it to you.
All right, so let's go back to your childhood. So from the time you were born, did your parents have this restaurant?
My parents, they used to work. My father was working in the farm, but they have another business, but he loved the food. And my mom, she was working, she was the fourth sister, she was the person, the cook, not my grandmother, my mom. Since she was very young in the house, plus she was a chef in the private house. Then after that, my mom and my father used to help my uncle at the restaurant. At that point, they decided to go to look for new house. Instead to find a house, they find house business. So they took this space. There was this restaurant. There was in 1964, and then so I was 4 years old. There I was living the restaurant.
So what are your first memories of the restaurant in the house? Were they all the same thing to you? Did you think that everyone had a restaurant in their home?
No, really, because I was different, and to have the restaurant, but for me there was a playground. The kitchen was a playground, the store, because in the front we have a grocery store, we have the bar. Maybe other kids, they have a playground, they go in the playground. For me, my playground, there was the kitchen and the grocery store and the bar. Many times, because my parents, they was busy, and then they did maybe the step more longer than what they thought it was more easy, so they wasn't working a lot, and the priority now was me. There wasn't more the working, so they forget me sometime in the bar or in the grocery store, and I was a kid, and I used to sleep with my dog, because there was my best friend, and maybe they find me and sleep in the corner of the bar or where
on your dog.
Yes, there was a perfect soft, and it wasn't my bodyguard.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to go around him.
Touch you, yeah. What were some of the great flavor memories you had growing up in that restaurant?
You did a question for me. It was a normal. I thought that everybody have a
restaurant in their house.
At that, no, but what I was surprised when I used to go to eat at the house, my friend, and then it was the same food.
The food was
So I was more alert to the bad things. I know I was surprised the good things my mom or my father used to do, or what I was eating in my home. For me, that was the standard. So when I was going to eat something else in other place, I was disappointed.
because the food wasn't as good.
No.
Were the products not as good too?
No, I think the product because so we talk today they don't exist the product, but I think in the 70s, in the 82 there was no good product. Maybe
Even in Italy?
Even in Italy because depends on how you was buy. So many times there was no problem. Live in the country, a lot of farmer they produce. There was a great, but maybe other product, supermarket product or other product, there was for money problem or for knowledge problem. Maybe they know it. I think in Italy too, in the 70s, in the 80s, there was a lot cube, bouillon, or stuff like that. There was like in my mom family, like in my mom, they have my grandfather. They get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. In the house, they have this wood burning stove. Never was off in the summertime or in the winter time. So practically because at 5 o'clock I get up, they have a breakfast. My grandfather used to have this bowl with a cafe latte, and dipping bread inside. 5 o'clock. After that, take a pieces of the lardo and slice the bread with his knife, cut the pieces of lardo, eat in this way. Then at 10 o'clock, 10:30, my grandmother, they used to bring sandwich in the field at the farm because they have a snack with the wine and sandwich. There was some cheese that my grandma used to make, or some salami, but no vegetable. 12 o'clock, they come back home for lunch. So the lunch, there was a big, huge lunch. And but in the kitchen, all the time, there was the pots with some type of the broth because of beef or chicken. There was a cooking there. Because of the broth, there was something important in the family for to eat. But at 12 o'clock, they have a lunch with the pasta, and there was some meat, and then when they finish some meat, normally it's not too much meat, but a lot of sauce because of the bread, and the bread was made in the house, but you make it once a week, so. When they arrive there after 7 days, the bread is still, but
you have to put it in the broth to make it soft enough to eat.
But not so much because they was smart. They used to put the potatoes inside. So if you put the potatoes in the bread,
you mean make it potato bread?
No, the flour, but with the potatoes, they still soft after 1 week.
Oh.
And but they are the difference, or they take the bread, they put it on top of the fire, they can toast it.
Wait, you're from Tuscany.
Yes.
And everybody says Tuscan bread has no salt, and that's good for Tuscany.
But depends.
So the potato bread, did it have salt in it?
Yes. But for example, look at the bread, they have salt, because I don't know really what is the less salt you put, they preserve better.
Oh.
But another thing, the salt, what is, it's about the cost. But I don't know what is real. But you reading sometimes I talk about the bread, talk the salt, they don't put the salt because at that time it was expensive, the salt. But I don't know, because all Tuscany, they have a lot of places where they make salt.
Yeah.
And then,
so you don't understand.
But in Lucca,
so let me ask you something else. Did you ever dream of being something other than a chef or working with food growing up in that environment? You always knew.
When I decided to go to cooking school in Italy at 14, and the school there 3 years or 5 years, and I told my parents, they practically they told me if you're going to cooking school, you're going to work to pay your
own tuition.
It was a tuition, but to live. But if you're going to choose the school to go to be architect, doctor, priest, what you want, but not in the restaurant business, we pay. You don't need to work that. And I don't know if.
So they really didn't want you to go.
They don't want it because the restaurant today is to be chef can be glamour, but 30 years ago, there wasn't so much glamour. There was working a lot time, but it wasn't my passion. Yeah. And that offer from my parents, I think there was I don't know if it was a type.
They were testing you.
I don't know, they tested me, they believe that. They believe
if you were going to pay for your own way, they knew you were serious about it.
And then, but not so much that, probably because it's so difficult, it's so hard to be chef 35 years ago. They had passion, and there was a belief that it was important for them to have there was more important to have the son, the architect, or doctor than known to be chef.
Right. So tell me, you told me a story about how serious you were as a student. And in those days, there was one Italian chef who had 3 stars, Gautiero Marchesi. And he was known as Il Divino. He was so revered. Tell people what you did, to learn from him.
Well, after the school, because 3 years, and the school was going in Montecatini, between Lucca to Florence. So every morning there I need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and somebody living in my village he going to drive to the Lucca for work. He pick up me, drop me at the station. I take a train, I go to Montecatini. I come out from the station. I walk 3/4 of a mile to go to the school, and then in the evening at 4 o'clock I leave from the school, and I do back home and take a bus to go back home.
What time did you get home?
5, 6 o'clock, and I was working the restaurant
at night.
And at night, and then.
So what were you learning, and why was it so important to you?
Because the school, the difference was. My mom is a great chef, and but I thought that if I want to come better, and I want I don't know if I'm better, but if I want to have more knowledge, I needed to have more direction to study more. In Italy, it's a different school because it's you're going to have not only culinary training, but you, for example, we have French.
Study French language?
French language, English, and I learned too much, and mathematics, history, geography.
Oh, so it was schooling.
Is a schooling, because in fact there was about if I think from the morning 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock a day for every day. That is I learn a lot, but I think I learn a lot because I have the knowledge of my mom. I think my mom, until I was 18, she never wanted me in the kitchen. My mom, she a lot of chef all around the world. They used to come to do stage in Vipore, and my mom teach to everybody. And to me, to me, she was saying, you know already, no, you don't need to learn. You don't need to learn.
So she kicked you out of the kitchen.
Kicked me out. Practically, what I learned.
Chefs came from all over to learn
yes,
from your
but
mother.
it was a funny. A couple months ago, I was in Costa Rica, and in this resort is a coffee plantation.
Yes.
And I was working. I was in vacation there, and I saw this guy that maybe I know him. And then finally we are at the restaurant. He was next to me, and they told me, "Ciao, Cesare, how are you?" And then he introduced himself. Was a former student at the French Culinary Institute. No, French Culinary Institute.
Yes.
But he did a stage in Vipore with my mom and me.
How funny. All right,
And he's the executive chef for the Boston
up in Boston. Legal Seafood.
Legal Seafood.
Okay, well, that's a French Culinary Institute stronghold, too. Okay, we're going to take a break here. This is so fascinating. We're going to come back and talk to Cesare about his restaurant.
Ranch grass-fed beef, pasture raised on 150,000 acres in Central California. Hearst Ranch grass-fed beef, free range, sustainably produced, humane. Hearst Ranch grass-fed beef, the authentic flavor of the American West.
Okay, we're going to resume. Today I have the privilege and real fun of talking to Master Chef Cesare Casella. I think maybe some of you have seen him on Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations. When Tony was doing his show on Rome, he did it 1950 style and in black and white, and had to get the ultimate person to show them authentic Roman cuisine, and Cesare was his guide. Go to Netflix and get that TV show. It is fantastic. So Cesare, I remember walking with you in Lucca, and we walked down the main street and people going, Cesare, when are you going to come back? I mean, you're just such a beloved chef for your restaurants. Everybody misses your food over there. We're so lucky in New York because we have it.
Luke is a small town.
Luke is a hard town to impress people with food. Your background was you worked at Coco Pazzo and took New York and Critics by storm. Then you opened Beppe and Maremma. But in 2008, you really came on an incredible idea and opened this different concept restaurant, more cafe style, Salumeria Rossi. And it has the best prosciutto. It's up at 73rd and Amsterdam Avenue. The best prosciutto, the best mozzarella, the best products. But now you're opening an even further extension of that on 73rd on the east side of Madison Avenue with Salumeria Rossi, Il Ristorante. So where has your concept of cooking, what is this new restaurant about?
To step back, the place in West Side, it's idea. It's like what was Vipore, but like there was a most the restaurant at the start. So it's a small store in the village where they have the store. They sell prosciuttos, cheeses, other product, everything they need. It's at the deli, the village. They have like Vipore. There was from they used to sell pasta in bulk, bread, salami, blade razor, everything they needed for the people that live there. And then they started to make a restaurant in the back. That is Salumeria Rosa in the west side is the same. Is at the store, grocery in the front, and then in the back. Next is the restaurant. And the idea, because it's a small place, we did it with a small plate, like Italian tapas. In the east side, practically is like my return inside, because when I arrived in New York, there was only across the street from here, because Coco Pazzo was 74th Street. So when I saw this space in 73rd in Madison, I like the idea after 20 years to open place. Not like Coco Pazzo, but very similar, because I hope to have the same success.
Okay, so tell us what the menu is going to be like at the new Ristorante Salumeria Rossi compared to Coco Pazzo, which was maybe 20 years ago?
Yes.
How have the Italian menus changed?
But really the change, they don't change. Like the idea that when I arrived when the menu in Coco Pazzo was my menu, that I put a lot in my dishes, they're not going to be so much different, because they're going to be the moment the best the Italian cuisine, I think, is at the 90 in Italy. So when they finish the Nouvelle Cuisine, because until the 80 there was a great restaurant, a good restaurant, there was a lot of influence about the Nouvelle Cuisine. After the 90, there was the influence, the molecular cuisine from the Spanish. So the 90 there was started to be the real Italian food, because before the 80s, 70, there was a different, because Italy there was Italy finished the war in the 1940. So in the 40, the people, there was a thinking now, what is the food, to eat something, because in time the war, there was too much food. The 50, the same, there was important the quantity. In the 60, there was the boom, the economy. They started to be a lot different restaurant, but there was at the beginning. But the food they're going to have in my inspiration and what they're working for the new place, it's a lot of the great Italian restaurant today. Some they are not anymore there, like Cantarelli, like Paracucchi. And
so you're doing authentic Italian food from the 90s, or from
the 90. I talk about the 90 because there was more restaurant, there was a cook pure Italian food. But they start from many chefs in the 60s, like Cantarelli, Paracucchi, like Pinchiori, like El Pescatore, Marchesi.
So World War II, where they could use good products.
Yeah, but they know was using the right way. There was enough in knowledge, because there was a
gap because of the war.
The war, and there was a lot about the quantity. When the hungry finish, and they started the people to have money, they started better communication to know what there was in Sicily, what there was in the north, and the ingredients travel more.
Yes.
Because between the first war, the 1918,
yes,
and the second war, so there wasn't too much knowledge of what's happening in the other part about the food. So the system started to be the people travel, yes, to have in the transportation, yes, better. So they started the ingredients to go around to have better. I believe in the Italian food in Sicily or in Alto Adige. It's the same philosophy. They change a lot because each region in Italy they have different ingredients, and for different reasons about the weather, the geographically, microclimate, they cook in different way. But the philosophy is the same: respect the ingredients, the simplicity, to use the ingredients from where it came from. For example, it's very difficult for you to find still today radicchio trevisano in Sicily, because but if you go in Veneto, every store they have a radicchio trevisano, because they still in some way lack protection. And then what is interesting, they are so different, the Italian food, because until 1850, Italy, there was a divine 300 different states, one against another. So they
didn't
really
share their
share nothing. But that it's a very difficult.
So now they've discovered each other's cultural. So everyone's making pasta, but they're making pasta a little different.
In the very different, with a different type of. For example, in the south of Italy, they use durum flour, but if you go in the center, they use non-durum flour, the regular flour, because they don't have a durum flour. So for generation, they cook in some way. So the chef, the great chef, they started to educate not only the client, but the client they eat in the restaurant, they started to cook home better.
Because
and it's not better, but different to use new ingredients. And for us, Italy is a very small country, but they are so different. And it's a travel the ingredients, and it's so cool if you go in Italy and you travel in the A1, the highway, and you see many times, if you catch in the time the truck they leave from Sicily and they're going to Milan, Torino to bring produce, and but they leave in the night, they come back in the morning. It's not like here. Yeah. The ingredients, they come from California, they need 7 days tracking.
Yeah.
So here one day, you have the product, they arrive from Sicily,
right,
so hot.
Let's circle back to your new restaurant. So what's the menu going to be like?
But the menu...
And what is Italian food? Is it Italian food from all over Italy, or are you doing a certain...
No, I doing all around Italy. I cook. I'm going to use the real way, so the philosophy to respect the ingredients, the simplicity, and then a lot of these dishes that come from our book.
Okay, we're going to talk about the book in the next part of the.
But because I think it's the way that I grew up myself to cook from the knowledge that I had when I was cooking in the school. The knowledge to cook in Vipore, they have my garden and everything that was around. All my friends who raised rabbit, who raised pigs, and everything almost they came from around me. It's different from when you arrive in New York, and many different things. One the first time they arrive in New York, gentlemen they deliver the lamb, and in Italy, for me the lamb is a baby lamb. It is 25 pounds. This was a 150-pound lamb. I thought what is the dead sheep they brought here because we don't cook.
So the lamb that you're going to serve in the new restaurant, how big a lamb is it? Is it an American lamb or an Italian baby lamb?
Now I cook both, but because I started to learn what is the difference, because the animal was bad. There was a race to be 150 pounds, but in the beginning I thought, so this is America, everything is big, the lamb too is big. And then it was a dead sheep, because in Italy what's happening,
it was a different breed.
The different breed, how they make. Yeah. But in the beginning, for me, it was difficult to understand that you can have this rock, the lamb.
So your restaurant is going to be an evolution of Italian cuisine as you've evolved. So actually, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back in a minute after this interruption, and we're going to talk to Cesare about his book. This is Dorothy Can Hamilton talking to Cesare Casella on Chef Story. And we've just finished hearing about Cesare's childhood growing up in the restaurants. He's opening a new restaurant, Salumeria Rossi, El Ristorante, on Madison Avenue and 73rd Street. But at this point, Cesare, I think your passion for Italian cooking and your passion for sharing your knowledge is really something all the young American chefs love about you. And you're coming out with a new book, actually with the International Culinary Center, because you're a Dean of Italian Studies. Why don't you share with us what you're trying to do? The book is The Fundamentals of Italian Cuisine. And what is it in that book that's about your passion?
But I think the book is an evolution from the books that I wrote, because until now I wrote the Italian Cooking for Dummies. There is a cool book.
Italian Cooking for Dummies?
And I think it's a great Italian, is a great cookbook for Italian food, because they have a lot of knowledge and simplicity. And then I did the area of Tuscan Chef. There was a divide in the 4th season, and there was a talk about my life, and there was a recipes at that time. And then I did the True Tuscan, the last book. Now, with the school, practically we utilize the curriculum, and we develop with the curriculum and the knowledge and the evolution of all this my knowledge in the last 25 years to make this book. And the fundamental, the title is The Fundamental Techniques of Classic Italian Cuisine. Classic because not because it's a classic from 18th century. I think it's a classic because I consider what is the evolution of the Italian food from the start from a very long time ago to today, because a great chef they brought it today to know exactly what going to be. And today I think we save this book. They're going explain more about what is the simplicity, but how to make a sample, and at the same time is great. The techniques that we use, but this is the work that I did at the school in the last 5 years to add what is my work when I was in Italy. They make, I think, came out what in the end they cook the menu place.
So how is the book organized? How do you take all of Italian cuisine and call it classic cuisine and put it in one book?
But we divide for course, but at the same time what is divided for course is that we talk about the ingredients and the techniques. So it's recipes, techniques, ingredients. It's 700 pictures. It's
700 pictures.
And there is a lot of pictures to explain. Because sometimes when it's a sample, it's more difficult than when it's a complex. Because to make understand how is a great ingredients, how to choose the right way, how to present with the not too many ingredients, present a great dish, how to cook a dish to keep the quality intact. And instead to destroy it, because sometimes it can happen that you have great ingredients and you don't know how to cook, and you're going to destroy all the nutrition, and not only nutrition but the quality of the product, the flavor. And the difficulty sometimes is to find the product, but the difficulty is how to cook in the right way. And when you don't want to respect the ingredients. For example, what I think that my food today, it's in 3 words. It's a simple, honest, classic. This because simple, because more simple, and with the knowledge today, and you can cook great simple dishes. Honest because you need to be honest with the ingredients, but you need to be honest with yourself in what is the to choose the right ingredients and to cook in the most right way. Classic because when we talk about my experience, what is the research that I did from the 80s that I still to bring in this book.
So, for example, one of the dishes I loved at Beppe, maybe Cocopazzo, I forget when you did, was the 5-bean salad, and you couldn't find the right beans, and you actually started a whole heirloom bean business because you got the beans from Italy, from Etruscan times.
Yes,
right?
but in fact, I still today these to have these beans, and but today is more easy to find beans here too. In the 99 when I started Republic Beans, I started only because there was a bring for myself the beans. There was this memory they have in Italy to eat the beans and don't find in the same way.
Right.
Because today I think in the US you can find better food than what there was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Better ingredients because the knowledge about the quality it's much better. When I hear people that talk about the ingredients was much better before. No, I disagree because today who growing product, who use the product, they have much more in knowledge. Mm-hmm. Still, sometimes not too much in knowledge. And I talk about New York, and it's different from many other part. But New York today you can find many ingredients of the same quality than what you can find in Italy.
That's great.
And no, it's a good. The only problem maybe for New York is difficult for the produce vegetable because the seasons are very short.
Yes.
I think today the same you can find good fish, not like in Italy because it's different in Italy.
The fish is better in Italy.
That with a great possibility. It's different because in Italy normally the fish is a fish in the morning and you eat in the same day. Here is a very difficult to find
the transportation.
The transportation. So it's like now when we.
So let's get back to the book. You said that you're going to be in your new restaurant using recipes from the book. Is this because the restaurant is classic and honest and simple?
Yes, because what I want first of all is the only thing that I know is a cook Italian, a cook in the classic way. So it's the time, and then the last 3-4 years I cook in the way that I used to cook because small plate, great food, but I want the fact that I decided to open more classic restaurant, regular portion, and because there was a missing to cook.
You miss cooking.
I miss cooking because West Side was different. Here they're going to be the same way because they have a restaurant. In the front is a grocery store. I sell prosciutto, but we have a restaurant where the menu I want to do to express the Italian food and they base the simple, honest classic because I want to cook the real Italian food. This not because I don't think in New York there are no Italian restaurant, good Italian restaurant. I think in New York almost is more easy to eat good Italian food in New York than many places in Italy. And
let me tell you, your restaurant on the Upper East Side is absolutely gorgeous. How did you? Who designed it, and how did you get? Because it's classic. The walls, it's very elegant, but the tables and the settings are very modern and sleek, and it's just a fascinating combination.
It's a classic. When I talk about it, I think that cook classic. When I talk about the simple, honest classic, it's the food, but at the same time the ambience. It's simple because in the end they have the simplicity, but at the same time it's sophisticated because they have this all fresco from Rome. It's like a villa in Pompeii.
It does look like a villa in Pompeii. I was just in Pompeii. It does look like
2,000 years ago.
Yes.
But the color is very Italian. The fact, for example, the chair, they are designed for us, and they are the classic eggs chair they exist in Italy. This is designed for the restaurant because of the same style, because they're comfortable.
They're incredibly comfortable.
I think that what is nice, the plate, they are from Richard Ginori, they are the most classic manufacturer for China in Italy, and they are so great, so beautiful. The glass, they are from Luigi Bormioli in Italy. So everything, try the simplicity, but at the same time the little sophistication. And the classic, because you see everything, the color, what is here, it's Italian. For to express this my idea, I utilize Dante Ferretti. Dante Ferretti, he won 3 Oscars for the set design, and he did all the movie with Martin Scorsese.
So the set designer for Martin Scorsese did the design for your restaurant?
Yes.
That's incredible.
He designed all this restaurant, and the last Oscar that he won is for Hugo, the movie Hugo.
The set designer for Hugo.
Yes.
No wonder this place is just exquisite.
Because really there are no... When you walk inside, if you talk about a Greek restaurant, you walk inside, you can identify this as a Greek restaurant. Mm-hmm. If you go in the French, you still to have some feeling the Provence or other, but the Italian restaurant really they are not too much. Less identify the Italian restaurant with the checker tablecloth or the Chianti, but I know. It's not want to do something. I want to do that classic, that simple but elegant. So who is better? The set design, the design, or he did an incredible movie. He rebuilt the American Gangster. He did in Cinecittà, the old movie. He built New York, in Rome.
In Rome.
So the idea.
Now was to build Rome in New York.
So yes, and the idea that you feel that when you walk inside, you are in an Italian restaurant.
You do.
And but
we're running out of time, and so before we have to say goodbye, what do you think the future of Italian food is? Is it always just going to be classical, or is there? What's your aspiration for the future?
But I don't think a classical. I don't want and they understand the word classic is something old. Classic is something they are style, and they have a very strict identification about what is in the class. In the case the food or style or dress or jacket, something they know.
It's timeless.
Yes. That is a classic for me. It is something that classic because it was made in the 1900 or 1800. And then I think what I try to cook here, simple food, but at the same time they have the identification what is Italian food. The philosophy, they make it recognizable that is Italian. And many, today, the best Italian restaurant in U.S. they are Italian. The Italian best restaurant in the U.S. they are known from Italy, and they are great. And I think restaurant like Del Posto, like Scarpetta, like Bartolotta, and many other, they cook incredible people they have more respect about Italian food than many Italian chefs. What I try to do, I try to be more American, to respect more what is the Italian cuisine. But this time, from my point of view, that I'm Italian, that I think more American to respect the Italian food to identify on the classic Italian food.
Cesare, you're a classic. You're a classic. Thanks for talking to us today. See you next time. This is Dorothy Can Hamilton and Chef Story. Shout out to my producer, Jack Inslee, to Heidi Tickle and Joe Sevier, my assistant producers. We'll see you next time on Chef Story.
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at @heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a non-profit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.